Yes, yes. Welcome back to Convos with Cozell. I am your host, James Cozell, your favorite non-guru. I have my brother here. I'm trying to tell you guys. I've known this man since like '07. Whoa!
Yeah.
15, 16 years old. This man has seen me at my lowest point in life. He's also seen me at the top, killing it. Y'all welcome to the show, Mr. Trammayne Golson.
Yo, what's going on, man? Hey,
All right.
pleasure to finally be here. I was
So
listening patiently in the background.
nice, nice. So Tremaine, for the people that don't know you, go ahead and give them a brief little elevator pitch about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tremaine Golson, I grew up in Canton, Ohio, really small city from really about 2.5 hours away from Columbus. Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I got to play on that field pretty often. It makes you celebrity instantly. But I got the joy and the blessing and the honor of being able to go to the Ohio State University on an academic full ride. With the
Yes.
Young Scholars Program. Shout out to YSP for life.
Mhm.
Man, sixth grade they came and told us, hey, you're going here. We had guaranteed admittance back then. I've heard they've changed it since then, but hey, I said I won't apply anywhere else. I know where I'm going.
There you go.
But
There you go.
we crazy story with that, and I'll get into it a little bit more in detail. But short version, I didn't even finish college. I felt like it was God's plan for me to go there to meet my lovely wife, to meet my best friend James,
Mhm.
and to get out of where I was, man. So I'm here now, still in Columbus, still loving life. Just sharing the wealth, man.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So this is our relationship series, Relationships 101, a little bit of background. So like he said, he did meet his wife, now wife in YSP many, many, many years ago. And let's get into detail. So let me ask you, how long have you been married?
Ooh, man. So that's the fun question, right? But 6 years we've been married. So
Okay.
we got married on 9/9/09. You got to
I
make
was
it
there.
official. So yes,
I
sir.
was there.
Listen, to the everyone who was there, to everyone who wasn't, dope wedding. Absolutely loved it. But we've been together for 12 years and 10 months.
Mm.
I'll unpack that. The reason I put it just that way because that's just gonna be a nugget for you right here. Um, Take your girlfriend, your wife, your spouse, your future, whoever it may be, out. So we go out on the 9th of every month because I asked her out on September 9th. That's just a good
Mm.
way to keep your relationship healthy. Take that nugget and apply it.
Ooh.
Don't
Ooh.
nobody does it, right? So then they're like, oh my gosh, he's so in love with me, right?
That's clever. So you say you met her in YSP. How did you meet? Like how was you like, you know what, that's the one and I'm at her.
Man, so for those who don't know, Brenda is a shy girl, shy personality as well. So no one was really chatting with her as much as they could have been, right? And I just got the nice opportunity. A good friend of ours, Anthony Morales, we were
Mm.
at the lunch table, walked up, and he introduced us. We kicked it. I was doing laundry. I remember it so well, But she came in the laundry room as well, and I'm gonna give y'all all my plugs today, man. This is all the
Please,
tactics out here, right? So
please.
here's what happened in that summer program. When was that? That was like '07,
Mhm.
right? We were doing laundry. I said, "Hey, let me borrow your phone real quick," because that's what you did back then. What
Right.
I did was I put my number in it, called myself, because when they that hot, you gotta make sure you get the number. So,
Yes.
no worries. I'm like, oh, there go my phone right there. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
start shooting some text and everything after that. But man, oh man, it was definitely an amazing time. And, we loved it. So we've been cool and tight ever since.
Nice, nice. So unpack how kind of like because obviously family structure is important to you now that you're a grown ass man and whatnot. Explain to me how like why is family so important to you, and kind of like was it because of how you grew up that made it like, oh man, this is like the best thing for me right now?
Oh gosh, man, yeah, absolutely. That's whew, yeah, 100% of how I grew up, right? So
Mhm.
no, here's what I say. Let's look at it this way. There's two ways you can look at life, right? A lot of people they'll say, look at how I grew up. How could you expect me to be anything different? And I say, look at how I grew up. How could I ever put my family through any of what I went through in my childhood,
Mm,
right? And I'll unpack that, right? So
please.
I had an amazing parents, right? My mom was always there for us. She took care of us. Her and my dad never got married, and then just craziness happened. So they ended up splitting up. My dad was in and out of prison a lot in my younger years, so we didn't
Mm,
really have much relationship. My mom was she was working, right? So she had two jobs. I'm the middle child of three boys. I've got an older brother Daryl, my younger brother Mikey. I almost call him Vasquez. I always call him Vasquez, right? But over that time frame of me seeing everything, my mom getting abused, like physically, drug abuse,
wow.
mentally for sure, to say the least. To see all that at such a young age, it had a crazy effect on me, on my mom, on the family in general, right? But what I will say is, I give my mom respect. She was strict in all the right ways, right? So I'll say, look at this. My mom was she's 4'11", right? So
Mhm.
it's okay to say that. She's not a midget, but respectfully, I gotta call her a midget. You know what I'm saying? So you got a 4'11" lady who's she's buff. Like
Mhm.
I ain't gonna lie to you, she's buff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and she's a track star.
Mhm.
So all I saw nonstop was, okay, I can't run.
Mhm.
I may as well take these beatings. So I had to clean up my act, man, at a young age, man. I stopped getting in trouble because it was like, this is not working.
Mhm. Mhm.
That was a huge part of it, just in terms of school, my mom was always on us for that. You could tell she just always wanted us to have a better lifestyle than what we had growing up and what she had growing up. And so, it was very simple. If we went to school, those report cards came out. If we
Yeah.
got an A, she said A stood for awesome.
Mhm.
I never got a B. Let me throw this disclaimer out there. She said if you get a B, B stands for bruises.
Oh,
Exactly. So
second now.
again,
Yeah.
track star, buff lady. I don't want to see what the bruises are. You know,
Yeah.
C, she
Mhm.
didn't say what C stood for, but you know me well enough. I said, man, C must stand for chokehold.
Ah.
I said,
Yeah.
now it all makes sense of how I got in the Young Scholars Program, right? Academic before I at the OSU, because I said, listen, I got to get out of here, and I'm not trying to have any more fear of what happens if I don't get these letters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was good though, man. So I tell you, it was the child we were. My mom was what was the main job she had was BP.
Mhm.
She used to work third shifts at the gas station. We would always have to sleep in the back room at BP while she was at work, just because we didn't have any babysitter. Right, so it was cool. It was such a great bonding time for my brother and I. Honestly, we didn't have our younger brother just yet, so it was just me and Daryl.
Mhm.
And here's what happens when you're in the stock room at the gas station. That's where they keep all the candy at.
Mm.
Free
Yeah, you
candy on
damn
top
right.
of free
You
candy.
damn right. You
So,
damn right.
but
So
I tell you,
with your father, you say your father was in and out of jail and stuff, right?
prison. Yeah,
In and out, ooh, even worse, right? So you say your
yeah.
father was in and out of prison. Did you have a relationship with him, like even a little bit?
Um, Not in my younger years, not so much to be honest. So I'll throw it out there. Obviously, he was pretty abusive to my mom, so they split up. And it was like I never knew how to call jail, or never even thought that was something you should do or could do back then too in those younger days. So I saw him when he got out. But it was like, we gotta earn some respect and stuff after that, because like I saw you hitting my mom. You know what I mean? Like just a no go in a lot of ways for a lot of things, right? But it worked out. And my mom did actually, she got remarried, or she got
Okay.
married, I'll say, to another awesome gentleman. His name was James as well. So
Of course it
uh,
was.
all the cool people named James, right? But But we called him Jimmy, man. He was cool peeps. I wouldn't lie to you. Him and his dad, they owned a business together. They owned a food place, a chicken spot. It was right next to my middle school and everything too. So I mean, my man knew how to throw down in the kitchen. Life was good. I ain't gonna lie. So and it was cool. When you get to see your mom happy, right? It's
Mhm.
like life has changed. This is different. I appreciate everything that we've gone through, but this is where we are now. Crazy thing though is he sadly had passed away in his sleep shortly after they got married. So that
Mm.
caused a lot of heartache, a lot of trouble. A lot of financial stress as well. Um, Man, gosh, that even just hurt me now, even just thinking about it. But such a cool dude. So we ended up getting evicted. It just is what it is. My mom didn't make enough to pay for everything. As crazy as it is, it wasn't our first time getting evicted. It was different this time,
Mhm.
right? We ended up living out of the car. My mom had
Mm.
a green Pontiac Grand Am. I remember that boy for life, because that was my house, that was my bed,
Mm.
right? So we were, it was cool. It's like as a kid, you don't realize how bad things are. So it was a pretty
Yeah.
cool adventure, right?
Yeah.
It was like, yo, where we going? Are we going to the park? Okay, fantastic. Yeah, let's go to the park. Hey, you know what? I'm sleepy. Let me take a nap. Okay, yeah, you good. You in the back, pass out. So it's stuff you don't think about. But really looking at that, just crazy stuff happened, but there's always somebody there for you. So one of my favorite sports was wrestling. My best
Mhm.
friend, I'll give all the shout outs today. My best friend Micah got me into wrestling in the seventh grade. Man, we kicked it. It was always good. But when I got to middle school, my best friend, not to middle school, to high school, my best friend Phil, him and his mom, my mom, they were always kicking it. They was always tight because Phil and I were tight,
Yeah.
right? So every match they cheering for both of us. Everything was cool. His mom was kind enough. Vivian, she took us in. She was like, listen, can't be living in a car, So she let all of us move into her place. She always had a larger house, and then she even got my mom a job working with her. She was just trying
Mm.
her hardest to help everything, right? So I tell you, I needless to say, I talk to her all the time, and that's a daily hit up. Like, hey mom, how's it going?
Nice.
Right? But it changed a lot, So with that, it's it's painful to hear, and I promise you, I have a great relationship with all of my family, man. I look at it as no matter what you go through, you only get one mom and one dad.
Yes.
So forgiveness was there. Like,
Yeah.
I just throw it out there long before anything happened. But imagine how it would feel to hear your mom say to your face she didn't want you anymore,
Mm.
right? So that it hurt a lot. Like hey, we're good kids. Like we weren't getting in any trouble. We're straight A students. Me and my older brother, my younger brother, like we're cooking, we're cleaning, we're taking care of everything. So to see that happen, it was just something crazy. You just couldn't imagine. And I lashed out. I went through a little crazy period for some time, and some stuff happened. My older brother, he made some mistakes. I made some mistakes following his lead. And then what did that have been? The summer going into freshman year of high school, I was trying out for football because that's what you do.
Yeah.
And when you right there at the Pro Football Hall of Fame stadium every day, you're like, yeah, you got to play football, right?
Yes.
But I got picked up from practice by the cops, taken right, exactly, downtown to the office, and it yeah, it wasn't a fun conversation,
Mm.
right? And they told me a lot had happened, and they were just like pretty much like somebody needs to fess up. So in my head, I'm like, okay, well, my older brother has always been there for me. Daryl's taking care of everything. Mikey, I need him to make sure he's got a good role model as well. Daryl's been taking care of me; he'll take care of him. So man, I won't say everything that happened. I'll just say I just took the fall for all of it. Just like, listen,
Mhm.
don't worry about it. I did it. It's me. Never said anything to anybody. So then I got put into a group home. It's crazy how life really shapes everything for you. July 22nd, 2005, I got placed in a group home.
Mm,
You know, it was supposed to be a 2 year program. I ended up being there for 2.5 years. I got out January 11th, 2008.
mm,
And it's crazy, but here's what you find out. I mean, they got paid a handsome amount of money every day for having kids in there. So, do you want the good kids who don't cause anything, or the bad kids who cause a lot of trouble? You
mm,
know, so uh, every review I got, you know, they would add an extension like, you know, you need to do this. You know, and I've always been a cool person, but you know, the group home I was in, I had to choose the one for anger management.
mm.
Never had anger issues, so
Ever.
you can
Like,
imagine, like,
what? That's
so now
crazy.
you go find out why nothing bothers me. I did 2.5 years of anger management when I was already called. So
Mhm. Right.
is this causing issues for your life? Like that really doesn't bother you? I'm like, nah, like life's too short, you know, like you know,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you to put it in perspective, right? So in the group home, here's what how crazy it was. And remind you, I took 2 felony charges, so they took everything
Mm,
serious, right?
mhm,
So I had to do 3 days in a scare straight program in a penitentiary. So I was in jail for 3 days. You know, what I mean, locked up, everything, right? At Faircrest. Yeah,
mhm.
exactly. Right.
I didn't
It's
even know
crazy,
that.
right? You
No.
think,
Hey, come on, talk
yeah,
about it.
yeah. But while I was in the group home as well, like they had it strict. You know, like you had time showers. You had 10 minutes to take a shower.
Mm,
You had a log. You had the sheet where you had to log in how long you were in the bathroom, whether you went number one or number two. It had to be logged.
wow.
And if you take too long in there, they just assume you were doing stuff you shouldn't have been doing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, that's not the case, but all right. Some people just take a little longer when they take it at number two. You know, I just leave it at
Yeah.
that. So,
Mhm.
so I kept getting in trouble for that. But, you know, but again, everything about that, if you look at it, it's just the phone calls. You know, if my family ever called, it was timed, it was screened. So they had to log how long I was on the phone with them. You know, they tell me when I can get off the phone. And then visitation, I had a social worker, super cool dude, LaShawn. I mean, I'll you know still chat with everybody, man. That's life shapes everything. He was as cool as can be, but what happened was that we weren't allowed to go home unless he was there. My mom was allowed to come visit, you know, whenever she wanted to the group home, but I'm sure you can imagine everything she was going through that time. Short version, she just never did, you know. So that's what really separated my family. That's what really split us apart. You know, I mean, it was like, okay, well, nobody's coming to see me. You know, I'm at that time, what, 13 years old, you know, so just going through the puberty years, like, you know, becoming a man, and I've got no support system, nobody to talk to, right? So I fell in love with school. I just said, okay, like this is my freedom, right? When I go to school, I can get away from the group home, I can get away from the family issues, I can just hang
Yeah.
out with friends, right? So I did everything I could to stay in school longer. I had late arrival and early dismissal because I took all those nice college classes. Like I tell you, my high school was pretty cool. It made a U shape around the college campus. I was taking college classes in high school and everything, and put me way ahead. Right now, I'll get into that in the OSU days here, but you know everything about it, I was like, okay, listen, I'm gonna need to still be there all day. Like, you mean just drop me off? So I worked in the attendance office at school. You want to get some popularity points? You work in the place where you can get people out of classes.
True. True that. That's
They
valid.
said, you know, listen, the text messages come in. Hey man, can you get me out of this class? Oh yeah, no. Let me go ahead and write you a slip, man. I got you. So the popularity points was rising, man. But I loved it. You know, school was good. You know, life was good. But I tell you, man, to get out of that group home and come back, you know, I missed actually what 6 months. So when I got put into that group home, I'll backtrack a little bit on that. In '05, that was the summer going into my freshman year. I had to do
Hmm.
6 months of homeschooling because they didn't trust me to go to school back then either. So I missed half
You
my
had to do
freshman
6 months
year
of what?
homeschool, like
Oh,
at the
okay. Oh, wow.
actually yeah at the house. So nothing with it was, for lack of better terms, not good schooling. You know, I won't brag on
Dang.
myself, but you know, academic full ride, smart kid, getting homeschooled by people who didn't really care. It put me behind a little bit. So I was like, okay,
Mhm.
this just isn't for me. But like I said, man, everything worked out. You know, I got done with it. I mean, obviously, I got back into sports. I graduated. Craziest story of all of it, I was missing from Young Scholars Program. They didn't know where I was at. They didn't know I was in a group home for those 2.5 years.
Mm.
That that fact that, like I said, my high school made a U shape around the college campus. I walked in there because I was taking some college classes and literally saw the YSP office. So I went in there. God's plan, I tell you, man. Like, talked to them. They were like, "Hey, we have no clue where you've been. We could not
Mm.
get a hold of you. We couldn't find anything." Now, normally, again, 2 years, they could have given that scholarship away to anybody, and they didn't.
Facts, facts, facts.
Right? And back then it was mandatory. You had to attend 80% of the meetings that they had for you and stuff like that. I
Yep.
was going for 2 years.
Damn.
Yeah. So they said, listen, we'll be kind to you. Like, like I said, we kept it. You've always been a good student. But just you can't miss anything else. Right. So I said, okay, no worries. Like, I'm here. I know where you're at. And let me talk to the people at the group home. Let me talk to my family. And thank goodness, man, that honestly it saved me. That's what got me out of the chaos and got me out of Canton. Right. So
Damn.
yeah.
Damn, bro. So when I tell you, I see. So hearing your story, man, you can personally understand that your situation does not define you, bro. You're one of the most hardworking, positive, calmest people I've ever met in my fucking life. You know what I'm saying? I'm 30, and that's saying a lot. I've met a lot of cool people. You know what I'm saying? So let's transition. So now you're in YSP. Okay. Now you've met Brenda. So let me ask you this question. Being that you said Brenda was shy and she wasn't really like a people person, you know what I'm saying? We've come to understand that you were her first and last, right? Now, if you want to go into how is it being your wife's like first boyfriend, yeah, first husband, of course, first love, first kiss, first
Yeah.
everything.
Man, I can word that so many cool ways, but I would say again, just a shout out to YSP. Thank you for putting her in front of me.
Mm,
Because it's cool to see. Like even as a dad now, like it's like when you're the first, they don't know any different,
yeah,
right? So there's a lot of pressure, sure, yeah, but I mean, good news was God always he always stood by my side, man. He made me a good man, so we wouldn't still be together today if we hadn't taken care of each other. So thank you to YSP for putting Brenda in front of me because I mean, Young Scholars Program changed everything, right? That summer 2008. When I got
mhm,
to the clearance to go to Columbus to come to Ohio State, it was my first time out of Canton too, man. It was just like everything was nice. Having that quiet young lady there, we started
yeah.
talking, which means your boy was putting the moves on her. She was listening because Brenda is
Hmm.
quiet as can
Yes,
be.
sir.
But again, if you find a Brenda, man, here's what I'll tell you. You know, that's the one, right? And I'll elaborate on that, but to the point where here, my dad, I'll give him a shout out too because we still talk. I talk with everybody in my family. You only get one life, so I don't focus on what I
Okay.
went through in the childhood. I still stay
Mhm.
close knit with everybody, but my dad is dating a Brenda now. Like I'm talking about
Mm.
the man who was always struggling in relationships, going through chaos. Found him a Brenda now because I always said, "Dad, you got to get you a Brenda," and he took it literally. Uh,
You do. Yeah.
but so it's a cool thing to see, man. Like father, like son now. So we both got a happy Brenda. But I mean, again, like I said, I just see everything about it. With I was probably I hope I wasn't, but I was probably like in the top 10 first phone numbers she had in her phone, right? So for those who know Brenda, she was like,
Mhm.
you can miss me with that one. So I don't know how I got her number, man, but everything
Yes.
about it was pretty cool. So I will say, my aunt and uncle, Lisa and Jeff, man, they were cool. Like that was the example that I had of marriage, right? So I did have one good example.
Mhm.
They've been
Okay.
together longer than I've been alive,
Mm.
right? I always hung out with them. So like I said, I was born in Alabama, but we grew up in Canton, Ohio. They're the only family members who moved with us. Like they were like my favorite aunt and uncle to the point where, it's actually slightly embarrassing, but their kids are named after me, right? So right? So we're close. Like my nickname was always Main growing up, right? So Main twice, So their oldest son, he's named after his dad. He's a junior, but his nickname is Main. Their second son, his name is Kwame. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And I'm telling you, those are my crews. So I just said honestly, I just want to be like them because even through all the chaos they went through, everything that happened in life, they were always great parents for everyone. I mean, they took care of my family, they took care of their family, and I just saw that if you go through some struggles, some fights, and everything like that, you can talk it out. You can stick together. So, I'll say I did take that at least into my relationship with Brenda, and I said, listen, we gotta take care of each other, right? So I tell everybody the truth, man. Like I said, I'm obsessed with cuddling. So, I asked Brenda out when I first met her at YSP because I was like, I can't do the long distance, right? I need to wait till we get too close. So, when we got there, I was just telling everybody that this is going to be the year, right? So I asked her out right after my birthday. My birthday is September 6th. I asked her out September 9th because I didn't want to share, right? And you know, I love that her mom even too. I have no clue why she thought so highly of me without ever meeting me. But Toledo's 2 hour drive from Canton, Ohio, and her mom drove her to come visit me, to come see me, and we went upstairs, just the two of us. We hung out, we talked, we had our first kiss before we got to college, everything. Um, and then we got to college. OSU was cool. Got to give her that first
Yeah.
womp womp. So I tell
Yes, sir.
my dad gave a womp womp phrase, so I had to use that one again. But it's crazy, man. I had a roommate and he was never really allowed in the room. You know what I mean? You got to put the slip on the door. You got to put the notes on the door. Hey man, I'm busy. Like we was just having a blast, man. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, I had asked Brenda's mom for permission for us to even just move off campus because you got to always be respectful. You got to take it to the right way. We've been dating, but I didn't really know how she was gonna feel. And what I love about this is her mom was super cool about it.
Mhm.
She said, you're adults now. It's saving you money. Move in together.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, shoot, say less. Right. So now we're living together, and here's what I love is you really find out who the person is.
Yes.
Right. When this, we're dating. They got time to clean up, to look pretty. You got time to make sure you got on your best outfit, everything as well, right? So good news is, I mean, I'm gonna give out the shout outs and the compliments all day long. I married the right
There
one.
you go.
That girl never needed any makeup, never wore any makeup. Woke up, I was like, oh dang, that is mine, right? So, but it's a cool thing, right? Just sharing the foods, the friends. I mean, everything about it. Sharing bills, I think that's an important one.
Hmm.
That's an adjustment for a lot of couples, a lot of relationships where that can make or break you in a ton of ways too. So, what we really became that couple, right? So that's what I love about it. I mean, James is always you'd always say, "Hey, man, listen, y'all the one." Like I'm
100%.
trying to be like y'all.
Yes. The
So
model, the blueprint, 100%.
yeah, and what I love about that we never raised our voices at each other. We never fought or anything like that. What here's what I love is Brenda's like quiet, but we've really got to the point of communicating like no other. It's like how moms can give you that look and you're in trouble.
Yeah.
She had that before she was a mom. So all those game nights, everybody was over. She'd give me that look. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, last game.
Yeah.
So,
Y'all get the fuck out. Get out. Yeah.
yeah, I don't extended this too long or something. So noted. But I tell you, man, it's been really cool. So I just tell you, everything about it was amazing, right? But I know you said, just everything as well. You said there was like some highs and lows from really just everything as well. So
Yeah,
the coolest part,
so with that, was it for you? Because I know you got the most patience this side of heaven. You know what I'm saying? It's like, do you whether what were kind of some of the struggles for you? You know what I'm saying? Being like more experienced than she was in the relationship and with life in
mm,
general. Like, what were your kind of highs and lows?
yeah,
Like, oh man, I'm tired of this or whatever.
for sure. I will tell you, the most important thing to any relationship is communication,
Yeah,
right? And us getting to that point where we could communicate, we could understand each other. Obviously, that took a little bit of time, a little bit of frustration, the her just saying, like, if we ever did have an argument, I'm over it in 2 seconds,
yeah,
right? And that goes back to those anger management classes.
hmm
But respectfully, I get it. She was like, "No, I need some time," and I'm like, "Man, I'm trying to go back to having fun. Like, we already passed the argument.
yeah,
Come on now, like."
yeah.
So that took some time for sure to get over. But it was pretty cool, and just in tons of ways. I think um, really just everything about it was okay. Well, how can we get better? How can we continue to grow? It was like we knew we're not dating for fun, I guess, for lack of better terms, right? Every person that I've ever dated, thank goodness I met Brenda, found Brenda. It was always about this is gonna be my wife.
Yeah,
Like my shortest relationship was 2 years, right? So, everything about that, just hey, let's grow together, let's learn together. I think it was always good.
nice, nice. So with your guys' situation, and this is in regards to how it is in modern media, traditional gender roles and whatnot. Um,
Yeah.
you are a financial expert, and you're doing pretty well. Show them awards real quick. Look at
Yeah,
that!
I can.
Come on,
Okay,
man. Talk
man.
about it. Talk
Look,
about it.
man, I want to show off every wall
Come
out here,
on,
man.
man.
Now,
Come on.
so
So
just
with
look,
that,
man.
as you can see the success behind my man here, you are taking 100% of the financial responsibilities in the home. And a lot of in the argument now in the media and on social media is that men are not willing to do that. They want to do 50-50 because they don't because the argument is that women now don't want to be traditional women and take those gender roles. So how is it
Yeah.
supporting the family because you do have two young ones as well. Supporting the family 100%. Like how is that going for you?
Wow. It's good days, it's bad days to everything in life, right? I full disclosure on everything. I am not perfect. I am not a guru,
Yeah,
right? I just say, I coined that one from a good friend, right? But I've got advice always. I think it's just, every day's a different day. Right? If you woke up today, it's a good day, right? So, I'll give you that disclaimer, but I think that the key to it was really just saying, hey, listen, yeah, we've got to find balance. We've got to communicate. I will always get you on the communication part here, but with us, really what happened was we were building the business. Brenda was still working as a social worker. She was enjoying her job and everything, and we hit actually a point where just the world went south for me real quick. So full disclosure, I love my waves. I'm always jealous of everyone with their waves still, right? But I had a crazy headache, my first headache of my life, and it lasted for a month. So clearly something was wrong. I just didn't know that yet. Obviously, hindsight. But I actually went and got checked out because I was like, okay, well, I don't feel right. I went to the hospital. They ran some tests. They didn't find anything. Scheduled me back. And then, a couple days before I was supposed to go back again for the second one, I ended up having a brain aneurysm. Right. So, for those who don't know technical terms, like your boy, I had a blood clot in my head that had burst. So, resulted in me having a seizure. And I got some metal put in my head. I obviously spent a long time in the hospital, right? So, that was on May 30th of 2019. And after just 4 months of the surgeries, the recovery, the brain is a powerful thing. So memory, I had to do a lot of memory lessons. I get better daily at remembering names again. But from the guy who was always, you walk up in the store, hey, what's going on, Frank? Long time no see. And then you see the awkwardness of them not remembering your name. So
yeah,
now I'm like, James, what? What's your
Yeah.
last name again? So it's changed a lot, man. But no, from that, I think that was another thing that just built our relationship. To answer your question, right? So it really wasn't in the plans for her to stop working right away. But with going through all of that, it's just funny how God works. She ended up getting terminated from her job wrongfully
Mm,
to the point where we actually did put in an investigation on the previous employer right after I got back to working again. And when you look at it, it's like, okay, well, as a social worker, very underpaid industry, sadly,
yes.
but her salary was only enough to cover the daycare. It wasn't like we were getting any additional money for it anyway. We've got two kids. We got mouths to
Yeah.
feed. It's like at this point, I make enough from the business. Just why don't you stay home, spend time, be a mom? Like it's a cool thing to say. Like honest truth, I would love to be a stay at home dad. But you got to look at it as I don't want to put her in building this business either,
Yeah.
right? That's my role. That's my job. So that's really what I've been doing, right? And over that time, though, it's been amazing. Just seeing how she nurtures Esmeralda and Silas, how she's always there for them. She has learned how to cook better than ever before because kids
Nice.
need to eat,
Nice.
right? So I tell you, man, where you gotta make the special meals because the I don't want it and all that comes into play. It's changed, man. So it's cool. It's refreshing to see. But also, yeah, I'll bring it home and say the good news is, on the 1 year anniversary of that brain surgery. So on May 30th of 2019, I had the surgery. On May 30th of 2020, we got promoted to regional vice presidents here
Mm,
because I just tell you, like, I mean, I think anyone, if you don't know me, you know me well enough to know by now this makes sense. This is who I am.
yeah.
I refused to ever have that day be something that anybody remembers and cries about or thinks anything bad about.
Hmm.
Right. So I busted my tail, said, hey, listen, life is serious now. Life is too short. So I've got to make sure that's a good day. And, just God's plan all around, man. We hit the numbers, we did what we need to do, got promoted on the 1 year anniversary of it. And now it's a good day always.
Yes, sir.
Right. But Brenda, I mean, her teaching the kids, I mean, I love it. We got the bilingual household. So just the cool stuff, the English and Spanish comes into play. But they've also got me as a dad. So the
Amen.
slang comes into play.
Damn
They've
right.
got kids, everything, right? So they're gonna be they got trilingual up in here, right? But it's just just stressful income times. But I think a good thing for that too, just Brenda growing up the way she did, she had never seen an overdraft fee,
Mm.
so yeah, right. It's crazy to think about, right? In our household, it's like okay, well, I mean that's the norm, like a dollar maybe.
That's every
Sure.
week.
Like started to look at me crazy once. She's like, "That doesn't bother you?" I was like, "Well, listen here, babe. If I got the fee, I don't have money to put in there to fix it anyway. Why stress?" So, life was different back then. But what we found out to stop any arguments or any chaos was it was a smarter idea, and I do recommend this as well. So I pay all of our bills from my account,
Okay.
right? Is what I started at that point, and we have a joint account, but there's a separate account for her, so
Mhm.
two checking accounts, and I do my hardest to make sure there's always $1,000 in her account, no matter what.
Mhm.
Right? So, I mean, hey, if you need to go get groceries, you want to have fun with the kids, you want to just go out, go travel, go visit family, do whatever. When there's $1,000 in there, you do what you need to do. But for me, I got everything else. That way, if there's anyone stressing, it's me, right? And not you, because I need you to be the strongest and best mom you can be, because I need these kids to see that,
Amen.
right? Let them have what they
Talk
didn't.
about it.
So it was cool, man.
Talk about it. Talk
Yeah,
about it. What I'm learning
man.
what I'm learning from this series is that marriage is a beautiful thing. Not only one, but two, a lot of people that are married that I've talked to are saying like, "Yo, and it's changing my mindset on what I believe marriage to be and how I look at it on if I feel like I need to also participate in the festivities, right? And so I
Yeah.
ask you this to kind of round out the conversation here. Why is it that you think people our age don't want to get married
Mm.
at all?
I can make that simple. Fear of commitment.
Mm,
you know, I think that's the biggest thing. You think about it, like, look, man, I'm not scared to tell. tell everybody the truth. You know, what I mean, I can't speak for the women, but I know for the men, I can say this: I've been around the block.
Yeah.
Okay, so but here's where I started to think about it. It's like it's a bad thing if you're with a bunch of women, but if you sleep with the same girl 1,000 times, nobody knows or cares, right? So I think that's the biggest thing, right? So if you look at that, most people are just like, okay, am I ready to settle down, right? How do I know she's going to be the one I want to be with forever? And yes, you get it, but what people fail to realize is you're going to adapt, you're going to learn and grow,
Mm.
right? We change every single day, so it's just going to be a question of, is this somebody you can communicate with?
Hmm.
Is this somebody that you can continue to grow with? Are they going to be growing as well, or is it just you growing?
Mm.
So I think that's what it is. It's just a lack of understanding for people, right? So I mean, I can put an easy example, right? I used to be allergic to tomatoes, so for the longest I wouldn't eat them. Even after I wasn't allergic to them anymore, I'm cleared, as they say. So, but now it's like, okay, well, yeah, man, you know what? I just recently started just putting some tomatoes in everything, but you grow together, right? Again, don't worry about it. You grow together. Brenda, I just like I got stories for everything on how you just grow and how you merge.
Yeah.
I sent Brenda a picture of this guacamole that I got in my fridge. Now, anybody Mexican or not, if you know about guacamole, it does not last long.
At
You
all.
gotta eat that
It's like
quick.
half a day. Yeah, if you open it.
Exactly. Like the avocados be like, nah, bruh. So I got this avocado container
Okay.
from Kroger that it's vacuum sealed or whatever. I've had it in my fridge here at the office for 3 weeks. It's still perfectly green.
Wow.
So I sent her a picture of it. She was like, "I'm so proud of who you become." I was
Shout out
like,
to Brenda.
I just tell you, yeah, man, from not loving the veggies, like like I was not a veggie man. So you got some avocados in your fridge, bro, at all times. Like,
I
life's
love
different.
it.
So yeah,
I love
I
it.
just say continue to grow, man.
I love it. I love it. Okay, my man. So you know what time it is, baby.
Oh,
I have 9 random questions. Okay. You're going to give me a number from 1 through 9. You're going to answer the question as honest, open, transparent as you can, and tie a meaning to the message as well. Okay.
okay,
Give me a number.
fair
And
enough.
if it's a question that's already been answered in a previous episode, I get to pick.
Ooh, okay, all right.
So
Well,
give
good
me
thing I'm in here in the first few.
a
So I'm gonna go with Brenda's favorite number 4.
number 4.
Partnership.
Okay. So this one has not been asked yet. Here we go. Here we go. You ready?
Ready?
What was your lowest point in life?
Mm, man, if I didn't already cover that one,
Right.
that's a blessing. And it's crazy it is, right? So I'll tell you, going through the brain aneurysm, the brain surgery, a lot of people would think that's like that's a bad time. Like I got pictures of people coming to visit me, everything. I'm on my deathbed. And they're like, yo, you may not come back the same. Like I came out smarter, as crazy as it is. So thank you to the Lord above for taking care of me there. But
Amen.
to me, I was unconscious for that. I don't remember the surgery. Like, so I think that was the toughest time for everyone who knew me. For me, my toughest time was that group home experience,
Mm.
right? I didn't know any better. I didn't know how to wait out. Like, life got real. It's like, yo, I don't have any family, any friends. I have nothing but God and me, right? And I think, the takeaway from that, it shaped who I am in a lot of ways. That's when I fell in love with poetry, right? I I still have a lot of my poems that I've written over the years, but the one that comes to mind was I was actually contemplating suicide back in those days as well too. So I mean, I'm like, I got nothing. There's nobody here for me. What am I gonna do? And I wrote a poem, and I remember just as I was writing it, it was just like, man, everything is just out of my mind, right? So I think the takeaway to what you can learn from that is, write it out, get things out of your mind, right? It's like, once you start to see the progression, once you start to let it out, it's not bottled up inside of you anymore. It can't hurt you anymore. By the end of the poem, I was like, man, that was the dumbest thing I ever thought of, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me go ahead and keep on enjoying this life, man. I am too young. Don't let it stress you out.
Yes.
And obviously, you see where I'm at now today.
Yes, sir.
So I would say take those words of wisdom right there. You know, what I mean, if it's a relationship issue, if it's a life issue, if it's an issue with the kids, write it out. You know, what I mean, I plan on definitely implementing that with the kids as well. Like, hey, you having a bad day? Tell me about it. Write it out. You know, let's communicate. You know, communication changes everything. That's what it all comes down to.
Yes. Damn, 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 bruh. I almost teared up like 3 times, bro. Don't do that to me, man. You know I love you to death, bro. Tell the
Much
people
love, always,
where
bro.
they can find you, my brother.
Oh man, I think that is the blessing of my name. All right, so you know, you can use this for anything. Now you can use my name for a password, you still gonna forget it. So, but I'll spell it out. So it's TraMmayne.
Woo!
If you spell that again, I'll put on there again. You can find me on Instagram
Mhm,
at Tramaine.
mhm.
Guess what? It wasn't taken. You can find me on Facebook, Tramaine, LinkedIn, Tramaine. You can find me on Apple Music, Tramaine. Just not taken. So that's this. Thank you, mom.
Hey, brother, man. I tell you what, brother, it's been a pleasure, man. This has probably been
Yeah,
the most transparent um interview I've done yet. You know what I'm saying? Like I've
hey,
learned things that I didn't even know about you. And I've known you for a long motherfucking time. You know what I'm saying? You know I love you with all
yeah,
my
man.
heart, brother. You know what I'm
Much love.
I appreciate you
Definitely, man.
coming
I
on.
appreciate
You
y'all.
know you coming back. You already know, brother.
Yes, sir. Hey, anytime, man. Anything you need, anytime. I appreciate you. Much love to the fans. Hey, keep listening, subscribe, because I'm telling you, I love this podcast. I listen to every episode.
Thank you so much, brother. I talk to you.
Hey, talk to you.